Shalom, shalom, everybody. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class on August the 8th. And we're going to go ahead and get started with a moment of silence and a prayer. And then we're going to go into current events. Okay. It says, O Lord, I pray unto the Lord my God, we make our confessions, O Lord, a great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to them that love thee and to them that keep thy commandments. O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us a confusion of face as it is this day, to the men of Judah and to the habitants of Jerusalem and to all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven us, because of our trespass, that we have trespassed against thee. We pray, O Lord, that you come before us this Sabbath day and bring forth truth, knowledge, and wisdom and understanding. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all this evil has come upon us in the land of our captivity, here in the Americas, in the Caribbean, Great Britain, and Africa. O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury turn away from thy city Jerusalem and thy people and thy holy mountain. O Lord, hear this prayer and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary and thy people for your sake. O Lord, open thine eyes and incline thine ears to hear and to behold the condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and defer not for thine own sake, O my Lord, for thy people and thy land need you very much at this hour. All praises to thee. Okay, so what we're going to do is go into a little current events. Anybody got any current events or something they want to bring up? They wanted to share with us? Okay.
I guess I'll go first. I saw where the president was saying that he tried to meet with Democrats on Friday, and they didn't come to agreement. So he was talking with his lawyers, and he's getting ready to try to do some executive orders to pass the stimulus bill and to keep the unemployment money going. And it's like 3 or 4 things that they don't want to do, and he said it's important that we do it for the economy. So he's like, if they don't agree, I think he's giving them till Monday.
Yeah, you got. Oh, it's vibrating, echoing.
When I talk,
yeah, it's echoing.
Let's see here. What about now?
Keep talking. Now.
No, okay. So yeah, he was saying that he was giving them, I think until Monday, he said, or sometime next week.
Yeah, it's doing it again.
Okay, I think I know what it is. I think I fixed it. So he's giving them till, I think he said next week, but in the meantime, he's meeting with his lawyers, and he's going to draft up something to pass some executive orders to keep the stimulus, to give out the second round of the stimulus money, to keep the extra money for the people that's unemployed, to give, there's like 3 or 4 things. So I saw that.
Right. Yeah, I wrote that down too. It's also tied to this executive orders tied to aid for the pandemic.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Okay. That's it.
Question. It's supposed to help in which way? Is it a financial?
Yeah. It's pertaining to what they did before with the $1,200 and unemployment and all that. the Democrat and Republicans can't seem to come to no agreements. So he's going to use an executive order to make it happen. Right, and so when you begin to understand that, it's all about, it's so close to the election, and everything that each party does from this point on is going to decide which way the vote is going to go. So that's why they at a deadlock. And so they bent on trying to guide the voters in a certain direction. They don't want to make no decisions that's going to be detrimental to either side. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also too that he's trying to, do his best to keep, to look good, because if he don't, he's about the election.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's all tied to it. Even these executive orders, it's not that he's going against the Republicans. He's using executive orders to sway what the Republicans want done rather than what the Democrats want done. Which, like I said, is foul, it's shady, because everything he's doing is against the laws of the land, because he's a sitting president and he's using his position to try to be reelected. And instead of letting the voters make decisions, he's trying to sway laws and events because of his position. Yeah. Anybody else?
They have a young lady, the young lady Breonna Taylor. They're gonna be putting her on like 20 billboards for the rest of the year out here in Louisville. But it's Oprah who's doing it.
Is what?
It's Oprah who's leading the way on that. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, we know what that is. That's part of them trying to lead us in a certain to lead the country.
Right.
Yeah, that's all that is. Because if Oprah behind him, you know what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else got something? Yeah. So like I was saying, I want to do a little input on that too. To bring some things to the light, because when you understand how these people operate, like I said, with T.I. and all them guys, they done made oaths with these people, and this goes back to what was done on Mount Hermon with Azazel. They, these fallen angels, he made them make an oath with him, because what they was doing was they was underhanding the kingdom of heaven. And they know who was up there. They know the Lord of hosts that was up there. They knew Yahweh was up there, and they know Lord of hosts ain't nothing nice. So whatever, if they did some in objection to the kingdom of heaven that was up in heaven, they knew Michael was coming. So he made them. He made them do an oath. You ain't just no word of mouth. He made them do an oath. So that's where this oath sign come from. And so these Illuminati with these Boule and all them, these people make an oath with them. So they have to go out and perform what they told them to do. And that's what we see unfolding, is they doing what they already gave them a certain agenda where they trying to go to, and they got them doing things to help them go in that direction. So like I was saying before, a good example is when JFK, you think JFK, Robert Kennedy, and all them Kennedy boys just popped up on the scene out of nowhere. But they daddy had an oath with these Illuminati and the powers to be way back in the day. He made an oath with them, and part of the oath was that he was going to bring his descendants on the throne as presidents. Put them in the seat of the president, and then he done all this wicked ass stuff back in the day, and the fruit of that was that his son JFK ended up on the throne, and so Trump, daddy, got an oath with them. Now all of a sudden, Trump then popped up on the throne as a president. So they got all you got to understand behind the scenes. These people got secret oaths and pledges and all that, like JFKC and Eisenhower made the statement about these secret oaths and handshakes and all that behind the scenes that we don't know nothing about, and that's what's going on. So, like I was saying before, Hillary Clinton, you know, she already knew she wasn't going to win. She already knew they was going to put Obama in there. I mean, they was going to put Trump in there. So, reason I'm saying that is, look at Joe Biden. Like I said, how in the hell you trying to win the presidency? Then you get somebody, you know, the black folks got a problem with. Not only black folks, the other nations got a problem with her too. Kamala Harris. So you already know what the outcome going to be. You making decisions to not to win. And so the reason I'm saying that was right here he got another blunder. He just made a couple of days ago. It says he made this statement about now he's trying to get the black vote. The blacks they registered for voting and the early voting and all that, they coming out in record numbers. So why would you tamper with that? So he comes out and says a lack of diversity of thought and heritage within the African American community, somewhat weary that a pattern of blunders, but it says it could impact the support within the black community. What you all know, this is what he said. What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. So he didn't sit there and denigrated the African American community and lifted the Latino community up over the African American community. He's, in so many words, he's saying African American community is subpar. But he says a lack of diversity of thought and heritage within the African American community. You know, then he says could impact support within the black community. What we all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes toward different things. So what his thing is he looking at when you go back and you look at the numbers, the African American community is no longer the second biggest population in America. Is Latinos. So he's shooting a jab at the Latino community, trying to sway them to get the votes. But at the same time, he's denigrating the black community. So like I said before, how in the hell you want to? If ain't nothing broken, Trump already did enough work for you already. You ain't got to do nothing. All you got to do is sit back and plug in the right things in the right places. But you make a crazy ass statement like this. You can't be trying to win. Then you picking Kamala Harris. You ain't trying to win. You evidently you got some kind of secret oath behind the scenes with these people to help Trump get in office. Because they ain't making no sense. Yeah. So, with that being said, in the comments.
Yeah, he must have got paid or something to make that statement, because it's not even, I can't see where it's relevant how he done
Right.
say diverse and who isn't diverse. Who gave him that authority?
Right,
and
exactly.
With what information did he derive that conclusion?
Right.
It don't make sense to me.
Right. Yeah, it's the only thing that makes sense is that he's following a blueprint, to put Trump back in the White House. It's like with Hillary Clinton, all of a sudden at the last week, last week of the election, they come out with all this stuff from Julian Assange and all these people from what Hillary Clinton had done. All this damaging information at the last minute. You know, it's all scripted. You know, so you know if you don't understand those things, and you getting caught up in the events or the elections and the turnouts and all that, then you lacking understanding because it's all been already pre-planned. They already know the outcome. It's like Hillary Clinton. She already knew she was gonna lose. Yeah. She already knew she was gonna lose. Any comment? Any more comments?
Yeah, I was gonna say that you know that the Hispanic community, like you said, is either surpassed or about the same as the African American community. So he
Right.
need them big time to show up.
Right. Right. And then the thing about it is he already got them because Trump did enough ignorant stuff. He ain't got to do nothing. All he got to do is sit back. And,
Right.
and he already cut his throat. So all he got to do is sit back and let his head fall off. But he said he's making most ignorant decisions, you know, putting everything back in Trump's favor. And so he can't be that ignorant to make them kind of mistakes like the one he just made. You know, 75 days out from the election, you make a statement like that. That done killed all the support you had from the black community right there with that one dumb statement. And like I said, he can't be that you know, he can't be that ignorant. Or he got Alzheimer's to the point where he can't, you know, he gonna make that statement. That's crazy. You ain't trying to win.
Right. Either you're real dumb or you're real smart.
Right.
And it can't be that he's dumb.
Nah, he ain't dumb. So it's like I said, they working together when you understand what's going on. Yeah. So anybody else got any comments on that? Okay. So with that being said, I had one more thing there. I don't know if anybody know about it, and I'm thinking this gonna be impactful later on. But they had a big old oil spill over there in Mauritania, whatever that place is. Mauritania's they declared emergency by the French, and the French sending some teams over there to aid in the oil spill disaster, and it's getting worse and worse by the hour. So, like I said, that what all that does with me is take me back to the Gulf oil spill and how the economy and all that changed over a period of time because all this oil supposedly had been lost and all the prices of the oil, how the oil went up. So we back here again. And like I said, notice where we at. It's 75 days out from the election. And like I said before, how they used Hurricane Harvey. Back in the day when McCain was he had a 12 or 15 point lead on Obama. Then all of a sudden, this Harvey came and ain't never hit up no hurricane never hit up that area before. All of a sudden, this hurricane comes and go all the way up to up the East Coast and go to New Jersey of all places where the governor of New Jersey was at, and he a Republican, but he had to come out and he had to team up with the Democratic candidate Obama to get the job done. And then when at that point, the McCain started sliding downhill and never recovered. And so, like I said, we're looking at this right here. Same thing happened. You know, you're supposed to be expecting all kind of whacked out events to start happening because they supposedly they making us think that these events is swaying the election, but they putting the events out there. They are already gonna sway the election, but they're using these events to make you think these events causing swaying the election, but they ain't. They sitting. There's somebody sitting back in the room hoodwinking the numbers. They've been doing that. Dick Gregory told us that. And then we seen that, what happened with him. He got all those votes, and they couldn't figure out what it was. He had actually won the election, but they had to go back and flip it because of they skewed the numbers, but they skewed them to the wrong person. They gave him a Dick Gregory. Yeah, so he proved right there behind the scenes how they, they do what they want to do. But they got to fool the population to make them think that that each vote, one vote at a time, is the one making the difference when who being elected and who not being elected. So yeah, well, all you have to do is look at that. It's garbage. So with that being said, I'm gonna go to the Book of Jubilees. I'm gonna read a chapter out of that. We kind of when we got the stream, y'all, we kind of got away from reading out of Joshua, Jubilees, and Enoch. So what I'm gonna read is I'm gonna read chapter 1 out of chapter 1 out of out of the Book of Jubilees. It says, and it came to pass in the first year of Exodus of the children of Israel out of Egypt, in the third month, on the 16th day of the month, that God spake to Moses, saying, come up to me on mount, and I will give thee 2 tables of stone of the law and of the commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moses went up into the mount of God, and the glory of the Lord abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called to Moses on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a flaming fire on the top of the mount. So I want to shine light on that right quick because of I'm trying to make this Sabbath class flow, and because of what I'm doing is jumping off of what was a lot of stuff that was said last night in the Q&A, and so I'm trying to make this all flow for the simple fact is it's so much stuff that's coming out now that our ancestors 400 years ago and 400 to 500 years ago was given a whole bunch of lies and false knowledge, and now there's these lies being uncovered. It's things that we have to do as a people, both males and females, that we got to shake off. It's hard to believe it, and then it's also hard to make the adjustment, and it's hard to do it. And so that's what I'm gonna go into for the Sabbath class. So I'm reading this right here. It's when all of it was delivered to us, how we supposed to operate. So it says, and Moses went up into the mount of God, and the glory of the Lord abode on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it. So when we've been talking about the Lord of hosts this, the Lord of hosts that, and Yahweh, and trying to distinguish between the two, Yahweh always come in the cloud. You can't see him. Like we already know, he's a consuming fire. So right here, it says, and Moses went up on the mount, a mount of God, the glory of the Lord will abide on Mount Sinai, and a cloud overshadowed it. So ain't always no cloud there. So whoever this person is came from somewhere else. So it's just like you going to Mexico on a cruise. You're only going to be on the boat for 7 days. Then you're going back where you came from. So this ain't the Lord of hosts. Yahweh had to come down from where he was at, and he came down, but he always come in a thick cloud. The Lord of hosts appeared to Joshua. He wasn't no thick cloud there. Joshua say he looked over against him. It was a man standing there with a sword in his hand, with an angry ass look on his face. He saw him, and so Moses, Abraham, he appeared to Abraham in Ur of the Chaldeans. They told him, "Get thee from away from thy kindred." And there wasn't no cloud over there. There ain't no cloud nowhere around. So that ain't Yahweh. So Yahweh had to come down from his abode in the cloud. And the verse says, Moses went up into the mount of God, and the glory of the Lord abode on Mount Sinai, a cloud. He didn't have to put this in there, but he wants the Israelite to understand what's going on. So it says, and a cloud overshadowed. Cloud ain't been there. I mean, people been coming to Mount Sinai, and Moses was around over there at Mount Sinai. Wasn't no cloud there. So somebody came that dwellers in a cloud, and the cloud sat there for 6 days for a Shabbat, 6 days in a Shabbat, right? And he called to Moses on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud. See that? 6 days the cloud sit there. The 7th day he called him. So what we know about that? 6 days he created the heavens and the earth. 7th day he rested. Same dude. So, and the appearance of the glory of the Lord was like a flaming fire on the top of the mountain. Like I said before, wasn't no flaming fire in Ur of the Chaldeans. Wasn't no consuming fire there when Moses walked, when the being that came to Moses told him to get thee from that kindred. Wasn't no consuming fire there, because it'll burn Abraham up. It's a reason the cloud there. So, and Moses was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights, and God told him the earlier and the latter history of the vision of all the days of the law and of the testimony. So we see right here, he told him everything that was going on, that was going to happen. Like I said, it's like Back to the Future. He said, incline thine heart to every word which I will speak to thee on this mount, and write them in a book in the order that their generations may see how I have forsaken them for all the evil which they have wrought in transgressing the covenant which I established between me and thee for generations this day on Mount Sinai. So like I said, what we get ready to talk about is, and what we talked about last night, we saw what the Most High said, when you set an idol up in your heart. He didn't say when you set an idol up in your eye or set an idol up on your shoulder. He says in your heart. So verse 5 says, he said, incline thine heart to every word which I shall speak to thee. So the word, to knock, and the heart go hand in hand. And so the reason I'm saying that is because if you don't incline your heart, you're gonna get knocked off. Like David's friend. When he told him don't touch his ark, if he would have inclined his heart, he wouldn't have touched the ark. But he had some more stuff going on. He didn't incline his heart and hear with his eyes and hear with his ears and see with his eyes and incline his heart to do what's being said and feel the vibration of the Most High's word when it comes forth. He didn't do that. It got him killed. So as long as we over here, it's all fine and dandy. You can do what you want. But when you start dealing with the Most High and get within his radar, or when in the vicinity where he at, you got to incline your heart. You got to hear what's being said. Get a feel for the vibration. Use the things the Most High gave you, the melanin, and like I said, in your pineal gland, all that. You got to incline all that to be involved. So I don't mean to sorry about the conversation, but I got to go on and give you this. So I was telling you about the pineal gland. It's right here in the forehead. And so when you see these angels come into these men and they fall out on the ground and go to vibrating out on the ground and they can't move, it's because the DNA and the way that they was made, they maker, the architect, the construct of who they are, that showed up. So so you say, what are you talking about? Well, the pineal gland is pineal gland is a window for the dreams and visions of the Hebrew Israelite. So that pineal gland is like this. It's shaped like this in your head. And it's bioluminescent. But it's just there. It ain't gonna react to nothing until the maker comes. The architect of it, he show up. So when the architect show up, then it's like this, it's folded up. Then when he show up, he start doing like this here and raise up. See, so you can't play with that. You can't be acting like there's certain things going on with you, and you trying to avoid that, and you trying to deal with what somebody told you over in America, or what somebody told you on some line or or medical pastor told you. When your whole body and your pineal gland and all that vibrating and dealing with what the Most High said, but you fumbling with something else. You know, so that's what that is. So when he showed up with Daniel and Daniel fell on the ground, that's what it was. Daniel can't. He tell him, I can't move. I'm weak. I can't. Help me. And so he touched him and made him get right. So that's what he's talking about when he say incline your heart. You can't play with that because the DNA and your physical construct is involved. And so if you're trying to make it do something else, it ain't gonna do nothing else. The pineal gland and stood up and they already let you know the maker is here. He done showed up. And so you can't fumble with that. And like I said, you ain't gonna hear this nowhere else. Because everybody else following with it. So anyway, verse 5 says, and he said, incline that heart to every word which I shall speak to thee on this mount, and write them in a book, in order that your generations may see how I have not forsaken them for all the evil which I have wrought in transgressing the covenant which I established between me and thee for their generations this day on Mount Sinai. So what you getting today is that the covenant and everything he talking about is tied to your DNA and tied to your makeup. And so you say, what you talking about? That's why he said, don't intermingle. You know, we've been over here 400 years, and then somebody come and tell you, man, you can't talk to that Korean woman or that Chinese woman, but you going off what you done heard and what you done seen. But your DNA and the construct of how the Most High constructed you telling you something else. But you instead of trying to adhere to what's been told to you over the last 20, 30 years. When the Adam DNA go all the way back to the garden and it's still doing what it's supposed to do when the Lord of hosts and his order, when that show up, then your body and your mind and your conscience and heart and all that's gonna reverberate off of that. But do you have a mind to understand that your body is reacting to all that? You instead of trying to do something else, but your body instead of trying to telling you something else. Okay, so it says, and do thou write for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee this day, and for I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land which I swore to their fathers, to Abraham and Isaac and to Jacob, saying, unto your seed will I give a land flowing with milk and honey, and they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange gods, the gods which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulation, and this witness shall be heard for a witness against them. So let's look at that. 8 says, and they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange gods. We know that we already discovered that. That's what our forefathers did. But look what he said. The gods which cannot deliver them from all of their tribulation. Right? Well, we're in a tribulation right now. Jacob's tribulation. Have anybody delivered us? No. Ain't we been spending money and paying tithes and all that bull crap for time anymore? But we ain't been delivered. He tell you right here. It says, to gods which cannot deliver them from all of their tribulation. Ain't nobody deliver us. Can't nobody deliver us because the God we dealing with, it ain't on our God. And he told you that right here. And this shall be a witness to be heard for a witness against them. And there it is. It's a witness. And we ain't been delivered. We've been paying tithes and all this all over the place, doing all kind of stuff. But it still ain't been delivered. Okay? Daniel got down, like I said, he passed out when the angel came. Because of who the angel was. He had to strengthen him. Then Daniel prayed, he showed up. That's because he was the deliverer. Well, we praying and flipping and flopping and falling all over the church house, getting the Holy Ghost and all that, and the angel still ain't showed up. So it's a problem. So he tell you right here, you're dealing with an idol. They can't deliver you. So 9, for they will forget all my commandments, even all that I command them, and they will walk after the Gentiles. Right? and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, right? And will serve their gods, and these will prove unto them an offense, and a tribulation, and an affliction, and a snare. So between verse 9, 8, and 9, he done summed up our condition. 8, when he tell you you ain't dealing with no God, you ain't dealing with him. You ain't dealing with him. You're dealing with an idol. And then he tells you in verse 9, that you're gonna pick up the ways of the Gentiles. Right? What's the ways of the Gentiles? They faggots. And there's some repercussions to that. Because you all over the place. If you would adhere to a suggestion in your mind by a demon or evil spirit to lie with another same sex, then what's gonna stop you from talking to a Chinese person or African or whatever? What's gonna stop you from that if people fall victim to that? And all that is because of the format and the order and the laws that the Most High gave us right here at Mount Sinai been skewed. And we think that we can do this and we can do that when we can't. Mine's been altered. 10. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances and my covenant, my commandments, and the festivals of my covenant, my Sabbaths, and my holy place, which I have hallowed for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle and my sanctuary, which I have hallowed for myself in the midst of the land, that I should set my name upon it, that it shall dwell there. So the law, the statutes, and all that is tied to the sanctuary that he just said. Well, what happened to the sanctuary? He brought angelic epiphanies there, and he destroyed it. And that was the beginning of our predicament that we're in right now. He got rid of the sanctuary first of all, and he tells you right here, because they have forsaken my ordinance and my commandments and the festivals of my covenant and my Sabbaths and my holy place. See that? He holy, and the sanctuary was holy. And they kept on serving other gods and dealing with other gods. He got rid of the sanctuary. Well, what's in the sanctuary? Him. These other 6. Even Yahweh comes down to the sanctuary. And then on top of that, the laws and the understanding and all that was surrounding that. That's why he got rid of it. It says 11, and they will make to themselves high places and groves and graven images, and they will worship each his own graven image, so as to go astray, and they will sacrifice their children to demons and to all the works of error of their heart. He didn't say they was going to sacrifice the angels, and they will have the truth. He said they're going to be dealing with demons. I just mentioned demons. You know, and most people think that's a joke. So he says, and to all the works of errors of their heart. So all they're dealing with is errors and lies, fabrications, right? And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear. And they will slay the witnesses also, and they will persecute those who seek the law, and they will abrogate and change everything so as to work evil before my eyes. See that? So, like I said, that's what's been conveyed to you on Prophets of Awakening. That everything you're dealing with is a lie from the pits of hell, right here. And they're gonna change everything. And that's what happened. The thing that you think is the truth ain't the truth. And then when the Most High says he send witnesses to tell you the truth, and you are bucking against it, you think it's something else going on. And so what's the trick to it? He said out the gate, fix your heart. That's the first thing you got to fix. Fix your heart. It's a cord. It's a golden cord that's coming from the heart to the pineal gland. If you want to know if your heart fixed right, then pay attention to your body and to your pineal gland and how your body reacted. That's what the prophets and everybody else did. That's what David did. It ain't hard. You know if it's something right and if it ain't right, if it don't feel right. It says 13, I shall hide my face from them, and I shall deliver them into the hands of the Gentiles for captivity, for a prey, for a devouring, and I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I shall scatter them among the Gentiles. See that? So point blank, like I said before, these one of the things right here that's hard to believe, and hard to do. And that's Gentiles ain't got shit to do with Israel. The Gentiles ain't been drafted in nowhere. It's hard to believe, and it's hard to undo in your mind. But he just told you right here, 13, I shall hide my face from them. You can't believe that. First of all, he hid his face from us. Okay? And I shall deliver them into the hands of the Gentiles for captivity, for a prey, for a devouring, to remove them from the midst of the land. Right? Why the Gentiles? Because the Gentiles are enemies. That's why. So he ain't dropping no Gentiles in. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, all that it look good. It's smooth. But we see right here that he ain't brought no Gentiles in. So he told us in Genesis Isaiah 44, 1 through 5, he was gonna come and help us. And he said he was gonna wake up what? One by willows by the water course. So what that mean? Your individual mind, one by one. When the information come to you individually, you got to grapple with it and deal with it. That's what it means. It ain't for everybody. So he says, I shall hide my face from them, and I shall deliver them into the hands of the Gentiles for a captivity and for a prey, for a devouring, and I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them among the Gentiles. We know for a fact that it already happened. And they will forget, all my law, not some of it, all my law, and all my commandments, and all my judgments, and I will go astray as to new moons, Sabbath, festivals, jubilees, and ordinances. And after this, they will turn to me from amongst the Gentiles with all their heart. They go to heart again. So what you think going on right now? He said he's going to help us. How he going to help us? He's going to help us within our hearts. And with all their soul and with all their mind. So what he talking about? Well, when he constructed us, he gave us a heart, a soul, and a mind. And like I said, the pineal gland tied to all that. It's a golden cord tied to all that. And you got to understand that. So you can't, ain't no excuses. When he sent the Jeremiah, Barak, first of all, Zedekiah, he got Barak down in the cistern, down about to drown, and then he got to convey what the Most High give him in the cistern, in the water. He got to convey that to Barak to take it to Zedekiah. When he get to Zedekiah burn the scroll up. You don't want to be in that predicament. So he burned the scroll up. So what happened to Zedekiah? He killed Zedekiah. Yeah, they took him out in the field and poked his eyes out. Did him bad and threw him outside the gate of Jerusalem like you do a dog. I'm gonna read that to you. So this is the person that you're dealing with. He had already told him, I'm gonna throw him outside the gate like a dog. You sitting there riding off of the bull crap and the personality that gave you a Jesus. The Most High, they ain't how he operate. Like I said, when he come back, you can fumble with it if you want to. Come walking up and there with the Chinese if you want to and see what happened. Okay, he says, and after this, they will turn to me from among the Gentiles and with all their heart and with all their soul and with all their strength, and I shall gather them from among all the Gentiles, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them when they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul. These two things he gave us, right? And I shall disclose to them abounding peace and with righteousness, and I shall remove them the plan of uprightness with all my heart and with all my soul, and they will be for a blessing and not for a curse, and they will be a head and not the tail. And I shall build my sanctuary in the midst of mist, and I shall dwell with them, and I shall be their God, and they shall be my people in truth and in righteousness. And I shall not forsake them nor fail them, for I am the Lord their God. And Moses fell on his face and prayed and said, O Lord my God, do not forsake thy people and thy inheritance, so that they should wander in the error of their hearts, and do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the Gentiles. There you go. I told you who the Gentiles was. And Moses tell you right here who they are. So it says, into the hands of their enemies, the Gentiles, lest they rule over them and cause them to sin against thee. So there go your answer right there. He says he's gonna cause them to sin against you. How? Lies. All these lies. JC. Paul. Tithes and offerings. Sabbath done away with. You can eat pork. You bless it first. You can bless the pork. You can eat it. Go get you a big old king crab lobster and put butter on it and just bless it. It's good. The Most High didn't ordain it. Okay? So he says, lest thy mercy, O Lord, be lifted up upon thy people, and create in them an upright spirit, and let not the spirit of Baal rule over them to curse them before thee. So what are you talking about? I just told you that about the demon. The wicked ass spirits that came from the giants. He said that those wicked spirits from the giants, when they died, they couldn't ascend to heaven. It stayed here on the earth, and it was going to torment and afflict Adam's seed until the Most High come back. So, like I said before, all these suggestions that you get when the truth comes, that ain't part of you. You got to discern between that. The truth then came, you vibrating, pineal gland going off and everything else, but you still listen to that bullcrap voice that's on the sidelines. They're trying to curse you and throw you off. So keep on going. It says, but they are thy people and thy inheritance, which thou hast delivered with thy great power from the hands of the Egyptians, creating them a clean heart and a holy spirit, and let them not be ensnared in their sins from henceforth until eternity. And the Lord said unto Moses, I know their contrariness in their thoughts and their stiff-neckedness. They will not be obedient till they confess their own sins and the sins of their fathers. And after this, they will turn to me in an upright and all uprightness and with all their heart and with all their soul. And I shall circumcise the foreskin of their heart and the foreskin of their heart of their seed. And I shall create in them a Holy Spirit, and I shall cleanse them so that they shall not turn again from me from that day until eternity. And their souls will cleave to me and to all my commandments, and they will fulfill my commandments, and I shall be their father, and they shall be my children, and they will be called the children of the living God. And every angel and every spirit will know, yea, they will know that these are my children, and that I am their father in uprightness and righteousness, and that I love them, and do write down for thyself all these words which I declare unto thee on this mountain, this first and the last, which shall come to pass in all the divisions of days, in the law and in the testimony, and in the weeks and in the jubilees, until eternity, until I descend and dwell with them throughout eternity. So we see right here who's going to descend and dwell with them. It's the Lord of hosts. But they told us a lie and said Jesus is going to descend and dwell with us. And so like what I'm showing you is that he just said that he gave us, we see all these prophecies within this one chapter. And so what's going on with these prophecies? He spoke them back then, but he just told you they're gonna he's 26, and thou write this down for thyself, and these words which I declare unto thee on this mountain, the first and the last, which shall come to pass. So he said it a long time ago, but it's vibrating through time. And so what time? Right here. It shall come to pass in all the divisions of days, in the law, in the testimony, in the weeks, in the jubilees, and until eternity. So what are you talking about? The Hebrew way of thinking. The Gentile ain't dealing with no jubilees. The Gentile ain't dealing with no weeks of years. But the Hebrew is. So he said, so he spoke this in Hebrew, and it's going through time. How? Hebrews, the Hebrew culture, the Hebrew way of thinking. And he said to the angel of the present, write for Moses, from the beginning of creation till my sanctuary has been built among them for all eternity, and the Lord will appear to the eyes of all, and all will know I am the God of Israel and the father of all the children of Jacob, and the king on Mount Zion for all eternity, and Zion and Jerusalem will be holy. So let me shine light on something right quick, because of, you know, maybe somebody out there fumbling with this. So Jesus said, I didn't come with myself, I came with my Father. And so the Israelite Edomite Roman think tank that wrote that didn't understand that Yahweh ain't the Father, but he conveying to you Jesus talking about his Father that's in heaven. The Lord of hosts dwell in Mount Zion. Let me read that right quick. The Lord of hosts dwell in Mount Zion. Let me make this plain. So I'm in Isaiah chapter 8. Isaiah chapter 8 says, we're gonna get it right. It says Isaiah, and we in the book of Isaiah talking to the Lord of hosts. I'm in verse 17, and Isaiah says, 16, bind up the testimony, seal the law among my disciples. I will wait upon the Lord that hides his face from the house of Jacob. So we see whoever this is, he the one that hide his face. And I will look for him. See that? Behold, I and the children whom the Lord have given me are for signs and wonders in Israel from the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion. So Jesus keep on, this Jewish Edomite think tank keep conveying to you that Jesus saying his Father is in heaven. But let's go back. Look at what he says. He says, let me get it. It says 28, Jubilees 1 and 28, and the Lord will appear to the eyes of all, and all will know that I am the God of Israel and the Father of all the children of Jacob. So you see what I'm saying? There's a lie from the pits of hell. He got it wrong. He said he think Yahweh the Father. Come on. So he says, and the father of all the children of Jacob, king on Mount Zion. I just read what Isaiah told you. Thinking like a Hebrew, he said the Lord of hosts dwell on Mount Zion. He tell you right here, I'm the king on Mount Zion for all eternity. So ain't nobody coming and getting down on the cross and becoming the king on Mount Zion, because he says for all eternity. And Zion and Jerusalem will be holy. Why? Because he holy. And the angel of the present who went before the camp of Israel took the tables of the division of the years from the time of the creation of the law and of the testimony of weeks, of the jubilees according to the individual years, according to all the number of the jubilees, according to the individual years, from the day of the new creation, when the heavens and the earth shall be renewed, and all their creation according to the powers of the heavens, and according to all the creation of the earth, until the sanctuary of the Lord shall be made in Jerusalem on Mount Zion, and all the luminaries be renewed for healing and for the peace and for blessings for all the elect, and that thus it may be from that day until all the days of the earth. So that was Jubilees chapter 1. I just read. Any comments before we go into the class?
Hold on.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Any comments?
Yeah, I was gonna say verse 29, where it says the angel of the presence who went before the camp of Israel. So that's showing you right there that, you know, like you were saying, it's not just the Most High there, but it's the angels there, because it's clearly
Right,
telling you that it's an angel who went before the camp. So I just thought that that
right,
was in, and that's uh,
right,
that it's not just in there.
right, right. And then did it also, just like we did with Daniel 9:25 and broke it down. Well, he tells you the angel that went before them. Well, that allude to Exodus 23 and 20.
Right.
So you got, like I said, you can't, I can't go to Isaiah 23 and 20 if it ain't there. So come on. And we seen how that all this was set up a long time ago. And what the Most High said, he the one did. He the one dealing with time and all this stuff. So it ain't off. It's not off. They the ones off because he's returning to his people and he waking them up. So you ain't gonna be off. Like I said, if what he said don't apply to Exodus 23 and 20, then Exodus 23 and 20 wouldn't be there. Exodus 23 and 20 is there for a reason. You got to deal with that. So anyway, so like I was saying, I'm getting ready to do the lesson for the day, and like I said, it's a Sabbath class lesson, and I'm bouncing off of last night because, like I said, it's a fire burning, and so I got to deal with that. So anyway, it says what I'm dealing with is things that's hard to believe and do in Israel. So based on the lies, and we got generational lies that's been passed down from our great grandfather to the grandfather to the mother and father to the child, and so it's to the point now where it's in your DNA. So when you denigrate JC, that's offensive to a lot of people because of what's been done. And so when you tell them he's an idol, that's hard to believe. And then not only is it hard to believe, it's hard to undo. You ain't trying to undo it. And that don't just apply to JC. It applies to a series of things, which we getting ready to talk about. Okay. And like I said, the first one is that the African American is indeed the people of the Old Testament, Hebrew Israelites. That's hard to believe. You hear me? It's hard to believe, but okay, the average Negro, okay, they ain't gonna try to do nothing about it. They don't believe it, and they don't want to deal with it, and then they don't want to try to undo it and fix it, and and do the research. So when you start talking about, when I say talk about doing the research, our forefathers, like I said before, they interacting with angels. So these men are highly intelligent, the Levites and the men of Judah, the people that's around Jerusalem and all that, they're dealing with these highly intelligent beings. So when they tell them something, they got books that their forefathers wrote. They go back and deal with them books and read them and make sure they know what they're talking about. Because like I said before, you don't know who the Lord of hosts is and what he capable of, then you come up there the wrong way. You come up there sideways and get your block knocked off. So it does you to go and do your research and go and see how everything operates, and then get in where you fit in at, and then that way you're able to deal with who you need to deal with, and stay away from who you need to stay away from, approach who you need to approach, and don't approach who you don't need to approach. You have to understand all that, because you can be at the wrong place at the wrong time and get your block knocked off. So it says number 2 is clean and unclean food. Like I said earlier, I was eating pork chops. Then I had a friend, older guy, a friend of mine. I was used to my mom cooking. They cook pork chops, and fry them. She know how to make them look savory. You know what I'm saying? And so with the collard greens, you know what I mean, the sweet potatoes and all that, and then this old man told me you can go to the butcher and get them thin sliced. That's for breakfast. Make it real thin and crunchy like, and you eat it with the grits and eggs. So when I found out about this unclean food and about this pig, hell, I was distraught. But you had to find a way out of there. Because like I just showed you, the Gentiles are our enemy. We don't know that. The Gentiles enemy, so he didn't give you something for your detriment. He done made it look good and set you up. He been eating pigs, you know, from time immemorial. The Vikings and all them, they've been eating pigs. The pig is abominable and they abominable. So it go hand in hand, but we ain't supposed to be dealing with it. So, you know, I had to find a way out of there. You know, the lobster, you know, the crawfish, all that. That's all that stuff is abominable. But it's hard to believe that it's abominable, but you know, it is. You got to find a way out of it. You got to undo that. Okay? So keeping the Shabbat. You know, you ain't know nothing about that. Like I said, I was a nightclub owner. Friday evening, knowing I'm gonna get a truckload of money that night. I'm all gearing up, getting ready for to get the money. You know, and stocking the place up and you know, getting everything, putting all my ducks in a row. Not understanding that I'm a Hebrew Israelite, and I'm working contrary to it's the Shabbat. This is the beginning of the Shabbat Friday. The sun going. I ain't not one time did I look up to look at the sun to see if it was going down, because I was stoked. But when I realized what it was, and the Most High came and started dealing with me and put this fire in my gut, then I started looking up. Was Friday came, hell, Tuesday and Wednesday, I didn't give a damn. But on Friday, I'm looking up for the sun to see when the sun getting ready to go down. Cause now I know. Okay? So on number 4, Jesus the Christ. This the ugly duckling in the room. It says Jesus Christ compared to the Lord of hosts, Michael being Israel's Redeemer. That's hard to believe. That's hard to believe. But over the past 2-3 years in our time here together on Prophets of Awakening, we know beyond a shadow of a doubt who the Michael is and Lord of hosts is. Jesus ain't got nothing to do with it. He an idol. So, like I said before, why would you keep dealing with him once you find it out? Because he's set up in your heart. You ain't fixed your heart yet. You ain't fixed your heart and tied it in and lined it up with everything that's going on. Even like I said before, when you're dealing with certain men and all that, you know, like I said, look at them. When you go to jail, they give you 5-6 different angles. You got to turn to look at to take the picture of this criminal. So it's the same thing with that. Look at them. If they ain't right, then when you gonna see it. Like I said, look at the head on the crawfish. Come on. So anyway, you go to 5, David being the Messiah. That's hard to believe. It's hard to digest. You know, I can hear him now saying, hell, David went over there and saw Bathsheba naked. And went and sent his man over there and bought over there, and they did it do. Right, he can't be the Messiah. David had his wicked ass son Absalom. David killed Uriah. Come on, but you ain't no understanding. You ain't did no due diligence and fix your heart to go find out. And let's look at it. Let's look at example of thinking like a Hebrew. So I'm in Daniel right quick. Jeremiah told them off the top that it was our forefathers, as wicked as they was, is one thing they knew. When the Most High said something, they know it was gonna come down. He was gonna come down on them. He's gonna show, if he had to, he's gonna show up and make it happen. So that's one thing they knew. So Daniel right here. Daniel chapter 9. And he knows that the Most High told Jeremiah after 70 years, he coming back. So it's around that time that he looking around. He having dreams and visions. His pineal gland tripping out and his heart flipping. So he dealing with that. So it says, chapter 9, in the first year, Darius, son of Aras, in the seeds of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books. See that? He doing his due diligence. Books, the number of years wherefore the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in desolation of Jerusalem. Now look at this. This is what we got to do. And I set my face unto the Lord to seek him by prayer and supplication with fasting, sackcloth, and ashes. And I prayed unto the Lord my God, and I made my confessions. And I said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy with them that love him, to them that keep his commandments. We have sinned and have committed iniquity and have done wickedly and have rebelled, even departed from the precepts and from thy judgments. Ain't that where we at? Ain't that where I was at? And I was weighing out pork chops and lots of tails. Catfish. I jump over the World Trade Center for catfish dinner. Okay, so let's look at it. So he says, like I said, David, it's hard to believe that David the Messiah. So now we at verse number 6. The male Israelite having seed and the woman not. We find out that the seed, the woman had nothing to do with the seed. The male Israelite had a seed. The houses in Israel, the male is over the houses. The woman is a helpmeet. The seed belongs to the man. So what did the Gentile do? The Gentile sticking child support on you, and when you being judged in the courthouse, whether the man wicked or righteous or whatever, the judge is perceiving that the kids belong to the woman. You know, ain't no second thought that the kid belongs to the man. His whole defense is to defend the woman. Okay, so 7. The male is like having multiple wives. It's in the scriptures, but it's hard to believe. And it's hard to do. It's hard to undo. And we went back and looked at Abigail. And so like I said before, they want to say, well, how in the hell David the Messiah? So David seen Abigail, you know, it had to have been something going on with that, but he didn't act on it. But when the Most High killed Laban, his husband, he went back and got her. So it means the attraction and all that was already there. So let's look at that though. So what's the problem? We're gonna look at two situations. The first problem was Abigail was already out of line because she over there with a wicked ass man from Belial. He told him, don't let your sons marry their daughters and don't let your daughters marry their sons. So that was a problem right there. So let's look at that. So now, all of a sudden, the whole time, the Most High had David en route to come get her anyway. But when the man that the Most High had for her got there, she was Belial. Wicked ass man that she ain't had no business with, according to the Most High laws and statutes. So what he had to do? He had to undo it. He killed it. He killed Nabal. And David came back and got her. So if you look at that today, you're going to say, David a dog. You a dog. You're a wicked ass slick man because he already got 2-3 wives. What are he doing? No, he going by the laws that I just read in Jubilees, chapter 1 at Mount Sinai. That's what he going by. It's wicked as hell over here because we're dealing with some wicked ass people that have skewed our understanding and skewed our Most High laws and precepts. That's a precept. And so, like I said before, you can't come up over there when you get over there with the Most High and get over there where he at and he show up and you can't come up there with sidestepping, you're gonna get zapped. Like I said, David Friend, he thought he can, you know, I at least touch it one time. He ain't gonna do nothing to me if I touch it one time. But he came up missing because he hadn't fixed his heart. He didn't have his heart right. So, like I said before, if you keep on drinking Kool-Aid every day and you get the red stuff all around your mouth, then and you don't want it on there, then you don't drink the Kool-Aid. You don't keep drinking the Kool-Aid. You know you're gonna get the red stuff on your mouth. It's the same thing with this. You can't you know if you're looking at it and it ain't working, then why would you keep on doing it? If it ain't working and you see line upon line, precept upon precept that what you was told ain't the truth of the matter, why would you keep on regenerating that in your head? When you see it ain't what the Most High, ain't how you operate. You know what I'm saying? That's how they go. So that's like you got a pride of lions, and then it's one lion and it's 12 female lions, and you're gonna take it upon yourself. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna get 11 of them out of here. I'm gonna get them out on my own. I'm gonna drag 11 of these female lions out of here and take them out of here. I want them to have one. What you think gonna happen? You're gonna get ate up, total strays. So what you're doing is you kicking against the pricks. The Most High set that in place. He's sitting there, we got a mane on his neck, he hollering all over the jungle, and these female lions there because the Most High put them there. They ain't there on no accident. Like I said, go over there and pride the gorillas. Take all the rest of the females and the rest of the children out of there, and say you're gonna leave the one female gorilla for him. You're gonna take it upon yourself to get all the rest of them out of there. See what happens. Okay, so it says the male Israelite being Lord over the female. According to the Gentiles, that's hard to believe. But the Most High tells you all through the scriptures that we read that last night when Sarah said that Abraham was her Lord. And let's look at one. We're gonna look at it because I showed you a virtuous woman last night. I showed you, and we're gonna have the Q&A. So I showed you how Abigail was a virtuous woman. Well, let me show you that Bathsheba was a virtuous woman. Contrary to what the Gentiles tell you. Let's look at it. We're gonna see her actions. How the soul and the pineal gland, how it's all working in sequence. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, I'm in 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 28. It says, let me know when you get it. Okay. It says what's going on is David is in his life. and they trying to figure out who's gonna succeed David. But David already, like I showed you, David been talking back and forth to the Lord of hosts. He already told him. We saw in 2 Samuel 7 that he told him Solomon was going to precede him on the throne, and he's going to make peace. Based on what David had done, Solomon was going to live in peace. That's what Solomon means, king of peace. So it says, I'm showing you right here the oath that he made with David, that David made with Bathsheba. And the only way he can make this oath was because of what the Most High, his conversation with the Lord of hosts. So it says, then King David answered and said, call me Bathsheba. And she came into the king's presence and stood before the king. And the king swore and said, as the Lord liveth. He can say this because the Lord had told him this. As the Lord liveth, that have redeemed my soul out of all distress, even as I swore unto thee by the Lord God of Israel, saying, assuredly Solomon, thy son, shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne in my stead. Even so will I certainly do this day. Then Bathsheba bowed. Look at this. Check this out. You tell me what somebody gonna do this today. This is what when you talk about a virtuous woman, it is. Then she understands. Like I said, it's hard to believe that the Israelite man is Lord over the woman. It says, then Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth. You want to find a virtuous woman, this is the first thing she got to do right here. Bow with her face to the earth, and did reference the king and said, let my Lord, the king, live forever. And King David said, call me Zodok the priest and Nathan the prophet, Benaiah the son of Jediah. And they came in before the king, and the king also said unto them, take with you the servants of your Lord, and call Solomon my son to ride upon mine own mule. See that? Ride upon my own mule. Go back to what I showed you. This is what I mean by the reason why I go all the way in on everything I deal with. So here go the mule right here. You think the mule just showed up out of the blue, you know, they took him off the back of a wagon or something when Jesus got on it. But they've been riding on mules. I showed you that the king's seed always ride on a mule. They brought Zerubbabel back on a mule, the coat of an ass, when he came into Jerusalem from Babylon. And here we go right here. He says, King also said unto them, take with you the servant of your Lord, and call Solomon my son to ride upon a mule, and to bring him down to Gilead, and let Zodok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him. They go to Messiah right there. Anoint him there, king over Israel, and blow ye the trumpet, and say, God save Solomon. Then ye shall come up after him, that he may come and sit upon my throne, for he shall be king in my stead, and I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah. So how did he appoint him to be ruler over king over them? The Lord of hosts told him, right? So David heart is right with the Lord. So he didn't go get Ricky or Rodney and put them on the throne. The Lord of hosts told him Solomon gonna sit on the throne. So because his heart is right with Yahweh, he went and put Solomon on the throne like he told him. So the difference in reading something and seeing that it's hard to believe and doing it is getting your heart right. Doing the research. Okay, so we see that's Most High had told him that. Now let's go to one more place. Then I'm gonna open up a Q&A. Okay, I'm gonna read this right here. I'm gonna read this right here. It says, David's instruction to Solomon. Then he called Solomon his son and charged him to build the house of the Lord, the God of Israel. And David said to Solomon, my son, as for me, it was in my mind to build a house unto to my name of the Lord, my God. But the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, thou hast shed blood abundantly and hast made great wars. Thou shalt not build a house unto my name, because thou hast shed much blood upon the earth in thy sight. Behold, a son shall be born to thee, whom shall be a man of rest. See that, son of peace. And I will give him rest from all the enemies round about, for his name shall be Solomon. See, point blank, he's telling me. I just said that. So he says, and I will give peace and quietness unto Israel in his days. He shall build a house for my name, and he shall be my son. See that? He the father. See, so Jesus and these Edomite think tank, they got their ass backwards, because Yahweh ain't the father. He said, he shall build a house for my name, and he shall be my son, and I will be his father, and I will establish his throne and his kingdom over Israel forever. Now, my son, the Lord be with thee, and prosper thou, and build the house of the Lord thy God, as he has said. So what I was wanting to shine a light on was, it says, like I said, every one of these topics I just brought up that's hard to believe, when you hear it, you get something in your head, you got a reaction to it that you believe in your mind from the 50 or 40 years that you've been on the earth. You're gonna automatically get a reaction in your mind, right? So look what happened with David. I'm in verse 6, 1 Chronicles 22, verse 6. Then he called for Solomon his son, charged him to build the house for the Lord God of Israel. And David said to Solomon, look what he said, my son, as for me, it was in my mind, look at this, to build a house unto the name of the Lord. It's in his mind. You know, it ain't got nothing to do with Yahweh. He got upon himself in his mind. He want to build a house for the Lord. But look what he said. But the word of the Lord came. See that? Rising early and sending them. He says, but the word of the Lord came to me, saying, thou hast shed blood abundantly and hast made great wars, but thou shalt not build a house. Look at this. You got in your mind, you want to build a house. But he tell you, you ain't going to build no house. For you have shed much blood upon the earth in my sight. Behold, a son shall be born to thee, who shall be a man of rest, and I will give him rest from all his enemies round about. For his name shall be Solomon, and I will give peace and quietness unto Israel in his days. He shall build a house, look at this, for my name, and he shall be my son, and I will be his father, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom over him forever. So let's look at that. David, him and Bathsheba had relations, and from David's loins, Solomon came forth. Solomon his son, but Lord of hosts just showed up and told him, he ain't none of your son. Huh? Ain't none of your son. What David do? He understood who the Lord of hosts was. He gave him up. Yeah, your son. He didn't sidebar the conversation. He kept on and said, yo, listen, this your son. You right. And what he do? He went and told Solomon everything he told him. Why? Let's look at why. Why? So I'm in 2 Samuel right quick. This I'm gonna close out on this. 2 Samuel. Chapter 20. I'm in chapter 22. I'm in chapter 22, I'm gonna start at verse 18. This is when David had passed away, but he had a vision of all this before he died that this is gonna happen to him. So I'm in 2 Samuel 22, and it says David passed away, and David cried because when he passed away, these wicked spirits from these giants and these fallen angels, demons try to keep his soul here on earth, try to keep him here from ascending. And I was telling you the other day how that you got angels that have dual roles and they interlock with each other. They came to they come to get the soul from the children of Adam to take them up, but they was there. These wicked spirits try to hold David there. So David cried to the Most High in his temple in heaven. Where Michael at? He up there too. He back and forth. Zion in there. So he cried and he says, and he delivered me from my strong enemies. That's these wicked spirits, and from them that hate me, for they were too strong for me. Right? Say they prevented me in the day of my calamity. That's when he died. But the Lord was my stay. So why? Why the Lord is stay? He brought me forth also into the Lord's place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Come on, right? The Lord rewarded me. Look at this. He rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands, have he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, and I have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me, as for his statutes, and I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him, and I have kept myself from mine iniquities. Therefore the Lord hath recompensed me according to my righteousness and according to my cleanliness of my eyes. We just got an example of that he had in his own mind that he was going to build a temple. He the king. He got gold dripping all off of him. He got flocks and herds all over the place. But when he had in his mind that he gonna build a temple. But when the word of the Lord came, he changed that. When the Most High came and dealt with him, so when he showed up, we already know what happened when he showed up. He showed up your DNA, your pineal gland and the heart, all that gonna go to flipping and tripping. So when he showed up, he changed it. He ain't trying to build no temple no more. He told them Solomon gonna build it. So like I said, I was wearing out shrimp and lobster and crab and pork chops, but they had to give it up. I was doing electric slide on Saturdays and Friday nights, but I had to give it up. So, with that being said, I was gonna do a little Q&A. Somebody got any comments? Well, all I'm saying is that the order of the Most High is how he all set it up. But the situation we in right now is a wise man would venture to not to deal with that until all that's going to come back to place when we get back to the land. But you can't go there to the land thinking that it's another way when it ain't the case. That's all I'm saying. You be, like I say, a wise man that's got tact would know not to try to implement that here in America. But you have to know that when you go back dealing with the Lord of hosts and dealing with the king, the land, going back to the land and going back to the way that Most High had everything, that's the way it was. That's the way it's going to be when you go back. That's all I'm saying. Like I said before, he wore out. The saints been wore out over here.
Shalom, shalom.
Okay.
Powerful teaching. And I tell you, one thing that I realized is because we are in the matrix of the Western world, like you say, we read the scriptures with a certain preconceived bent and we miss a lot.
Right.
And I'm saying that because when you read the scripture where Bathsheba bowed to David, I had not seen that in the scripture before.
Right.
And you know that when you first brought this truth to me, I was kicking and fighting and scratching and saying, nah, I can't believe this, I can't believe that. But as time has gone on and the Lord of hosts, has dealt with me, I understand that the things that I'm hearing from you that seem challenging and seem so far-fetched, I know that I have to wait and be patient, because I'm not going to have the same mind that I have right now.
Right.
But I know and I believe that you and all of the Levites that are part of Prophets of the Awakening, you, Kevin, Wesley, or AJ, you guys have to make a sacrifice to bring these teachings to us. And so there's a reason why those of us on this line, we have been chosen as willows by the watercourse.
Right.
And we have to be patient and understand we are still in the land of our captivity, and we're still in the mind of our captors.
Right.
And that in due season, the only after the Lord of hosts touches us will we be able to think the way we're supposed to, even
Right.
as Hebrew Israelite women. And so I want to say two more things and I'm done. When you were reading earlier about Jeremiah having to share the truth from the bottom of a cistern filled with dung, it helps me to understand that when the Levites of Prophets of Awakening come forth to share with us, it's not an easy thing.
Right.
It's a difficult thing to do in captivity. We're in captivity,
Right.
and you're coming forth with the truth that we're going to walk in when we're taken out of captivity.
Right.
So I want to say that, and then the last thing I want to say. So I want to say thank you to the Levites of Prophets of Awakening, and I want to say the scripture said you've been talking a lot today about our mind, and our heart, and that the mind and the heart and the soul and all of that has to be aligned. And we know that ultimately everything will be aligned once the Lord of hosts washes us. But the scripture says, and I'm sorry I don't know where this is found, but I'll have the scripture by tonight. The Lord will keep thee in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him. We now know that him is not Jesus the Christ, but it is Michael, our Lord of hosts. And so, as a seminary trained person, deep seminary trained, used to eat pork chops and catfish and all those things that you talked about, I have walked away from that. And I've walked away from that. Like you say, you would jump over the World Trade Center to get a catfish dinner. I jump over the Trade Center twice to get a catfish dinner, and I've had to walk away from that. So I had asked you the question last night: what can a person do to turn aside or to turn away from that which is possibly against the Lord of hosts? And what you said to us on last night is we have to understand that the way that we are thinking is we're not thinking like Hebrew Israelites, because we're in the land of our captors. But if we be patient, and even after hearing your teachings, sit quietly before the Lord of hosts and ask the Lord of hosts, what is this dude talking about? Is what he's saying really true? Sometimes people look at the messenger and they say, first of all, he from Derrida, okay? And he don't look like he should be a man of God, or we take matters into our own hands and our own minds, and we got to remember to give it back to the Lord of hosts, and to even question the Lord of hosts about what you're saying to us, and sit quiet long enough for him to begin to help us to align our hearts and get our hearts right. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So like I said, it's nothing the Most High do that's it's nothing new under the sun. So back when during the time of Ahaz, he had all these prophets around him, wicked ass prophets and fake prophets, and he wanted a true prophecy about him from a true prophet of God. So he had to go out in the woods to get Micaiah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Anybody else got anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say something that stood out to me earlier when you was reading in Jubilees, when you was talking about the oath that was made. I was looking at Deuteronomy 29 about the oath that we made with the Lord of hosts.
Right.
And you know, a lot of times you hear people talk about the covenant, the covenant, the covenant, but the covenant is really just the words. It's the oath that got us in trouble.
Right.
Because that's what binded us to the covenant.
Right.
And
Right.
so, you know, we're wondering why all this is happening to us, but our forefathers agreed.
Right.
And so, you
And
know,
then,
we're here today.
right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Like I said, what the point I want to emphasize is the fact that, you know, it ain't like me and you holding the conversation. When David talking to the Lord of hosts, he's talking to a supernatural being. And he keep telling you all through the scripture what he capable of doing. So you making an oath with somebody that's dangerous.
Right.
you can't come up on them any kind of way. Like I said, and you don't get no pass. You don't get no pass because your ancestors been over here for 400 years, and you don't know. Shit, you come up there the wrong way if you want to. He told them at Mount Sinai, tell them. He told Moses, go tell them, don't put borders around the mountain. So they won't come running up here and breaking through like I'm some kind of pop star or something and gonna break through here and think you're gonna come up here to see me, and I'm gonna kill you. See, so that's where we at right now. You don't get no pass, you know. So you gotta start practicing that right now. You don't get no pass. You better do your research.
Right.
Yeah, because you can make a mistake if you want to. Be your last.
And like you tell the court,
Yeah,
leading people group with high blood pressure and diabetes and everything in between, because we eating the stuff that he told us not to eat.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's right. So you're gonna, you know, I had another part to this, man. I'm gonna read one part of it. Anybody got any more questions? Comments before I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna do the rest of it tonight. I have like part two of it.
Shalom, shalom. Okay, so Leonard, earlier I forgot this. I saw my little notes right here. In the New Testament, it says something like, "For I reckon that the troubles that we go through cannot be compared to the glory that shall be revealed when our Lord returns." And they talking about Jesus Christ. But as you read today, and I don't have the scriptures down, but not only is every nation and every people gonna bow to the Lord of hosts, but I believe you read earlier that we are gonna be revealed as the people of the book. We're gonna be revealed as his children, his inheritance, right?
Right. So what you're looking at, like I keep on emphasizing, and it's of the utmost importance, it's an order. And so you got Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, the angels, then you got the men of Israel, the women, like that. So when the people come, they're gonna see all that. Like they did at Mount Sinai, and they bowing down to all that.
Right.
The order. Because he said in the end, they're gonna see you, they're gonna come and bow down to you at my feet.
Yes.
So Israel standing there at their feet.
Yes.
The seven standing behind them, y'all behind them.
Yeah. Exactly. Because you know when you say you've been talking about that the Lord of hosts, okay, when Moses walked up on the burning bush, he had to remove his sandals because the ground was holy, and what made the ground or that place holy was that it was a holy angel there. And then
Right.
the Lord tells us that we are his holy people. And for
Right.
so long, when I heard the word holy, I thought it was something that I could not accomplish, because how do you be holy? But holy simply means that you are the people that are set apart to
Right.
display the laws and the statutes of your God. So
Right.
the holy people that's going to be revealed when the Lord of hosts comes back, is they're going to be revealed, and their way of life, like you say, the protocol in the family of the whole people is going to be revealed, and we're going to understand why we have so many complications in our family, because our order is not right. We're not holy. We're not living the way that our Lord of hosts created us to live. So
Right.
not only is every knee will bow and confess that Michael is the Lord of hosts, but they're going to confess that we are the people.
Right. Right. But
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
you have to get the understanding on that the holy part, which is what so many Israelites ain't understanding. You got Kool-Aid, and then somebody makes you some Kool-Aid, and they say, "Man, this Kool-Aid is sweet." Well, what makes it sweet? It's sugar in it, right?
Yeah.
So the Israelite is what the most Adam. It's the melanin and all that's in him. You holy, but so you can
Okay.
be a wicked ass Israelite, but you still holy
Uh-huh.
because what's in you. That's why he told them, do this and do that because you holy.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And that's where the DNA come in at, not mingling, and that's where the
Yes.
part come in, not eating catfish because you
Mm-hmm.
holy. Before I even found out I was an Israelite, I was already holy because of where I came from.
Right.
I
Right.
just gotta know that and start doing and living my life and doing things according to understand that I know I'm holy because I'm an Israelite. I came from Jacob.
Right. Right. I forget who this person is that said, when you don't know the purpose of a thing, you will misuse that thing.
Right, exactly.
So we don't, so, and also what came to my mind as you was teaching this morning is the movie The Matrix.
Right,
We're in a Western matrix. We're in a wicked matrix. But based on what you just said, in the midst of this wicked matrix, guess what? We still holy.
right, exactly. We just gotta come up. We just gotta catch up with the thought. Just like
Hallelujah.
David had in his mind he wanted to build a temple, but that's what you had in your mind. But when the truth came to you, he had to make the adjustment.
Yes.
Same thing you
Yes.
did. You been holy. You just ain't know you was holy.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Mm-hmm.
when you find out you're holy, then what you gotta do? Do something with that pork chop.
Mm-hmm.
And do something
Mm-hmm.
with all the other stuff you're doing. Do something with the Sabbath day. You already holy.
Right.
You just gotta line it up. So
Right.
start paying attention to your dreams. Start paying attention to the
Yes.
things going on around you, the people that can approach you. Because most I could be the center. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what the deal is. But we don't, that's not for everybody. Like I told you, the Chinese thing, he can go eat a lobster and then go out and party all night on Friday night.
Right.
But
Right.
I can't, and you can't do that. That's what you have to.
Right.
That's what you have to raffle with. But we understand it's not because of my delivery. I'm not trying to impose myself on nobody. I'm saying
Right.
that this stuff has to be thought of now before you go over it. Like
Yes.
I said, you can't if they come and get me doing the draft back in Vietnam. They come and got all those guys and put them in the army. When you gonna train them, then you gonna give them a BB gun to go over there
Right.
with a BB gun? No, you got to give them an AKA rifle, machine gun.
Yeah.
They go on the damn wall. You got to be prepared. So you can. What I'm getting you to want you to see is that the Lord of Hosts ain't finna be funneling with you like
Yes.
nobody like the people over here like they doing over here. You can't go over there with that mindset. You gonna come up
Yes.
missing. That's what
Yes.
happened to Aaron. Aaron two sons. They
Yes.
thought the Lord of
And
hosts was something to play with. He ain't nothing to play with.
yes. And our Lord of hosts is a merciful Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, he not gonna tolerate any foolishness, but he's a merciful Lord. So when we think about turning aside from how we have been made to believe and walk over here in this Western world, part of turning aside and also is just being still. Sometimes just be still, be quiet, and know
Right.
that the Lord of hosts is gonna bring it all to full manifestation. Like you say, he gonna change your heart. It's not something I can't change my heart, but I can give my will over to the Lord of hosts to help me change my heart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
sometimes when it comes to accepting the truth, we want to try to accept the truth in our little finite brain and in
Right.
our little
Exactly.
preconceived notions. But you have to almost suspend your thinking and suspend your rationale and your logic and say,
Right.
you know what, Lord of hosts, if you really the one and this is really you through this teaching, then I'm gonna be still, I'm gonna be quiet, and I want you to work on my heart. You understand me? So
Right.
yeah, hallelujah.
Right. So that's just like everything else I was saying. You gotta. That's something that you gotta. It's not normally how you think. You gotta learn to think like that. So
Yes.
like I was saying before, when and I don't know who to watch this movie or not, but the last King Kong movie that came out. I mean, if you pay attention, what they conveyed on the movie was, they had called him, brought him over there, and then made a spectacle out of him over here in New York. But the guy had peeked out. He said, "Man, he a redeemer." He said
Yeah.
the reason the people worshiping him because he had all the more wicked ass animals over there that was attacking the people, and King Kong was protecting them. He
Right.
was a redeemer. So anyway, he saw this white woman, you know, and like I say, like the dude said, a black eight out of all the images you could have got of King Kong, you're gonna make him a black eight with
Right.
red eyes,
Right.
with red eyes. So anyway, he took the white woman running all over the place, hiding it from King Kong in love with her. He hiding and ducking and dodging, and then he ended up on the side of this cliff of this mountain with the woman. He don't know what King Kong is, and all of a sudden you see this little bitty hair coming up on top of the side of the mountain. Then all of a sudden he look up, that King Kong is looking right at him in his face.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that's what you got to think about. Yeah, you over here right now, but it's gonna come a day you gonna be standing right there.
Oh yes.
What you gonna
Oh
do?
yes.
So he almost pissed on himself that he was king, and then look at his face, look at King
Yes.
Kong's face. He's sour. And so my thing
Yes.
is this: how you gonna continue on try to move forward when you see how this dude looking?
Right.
You see the tissy in his face. You see he had the last straw. And you
Yes.
got to do something. You got to do something. He right here now.
Yes.
What you gonna do?
Hallelujah. Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Come on.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anybody got any more comments? Any more comments or questions before we close out this Shabbat class? Okay. So I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all tonight at 6 o'clock. We're gonna pick up with the same conversation.